Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be looking at James Patterson's The Summer House. And this was a Christmas gift. I've not read a James Patterson novel yet. And so I was kind of excited to see it, but then I looked closer and it's sub-authored by Brendan DuBois. So it's not really a James Patterson book, I don't think. It's, like Tom Clancy later on, when they get authors get long in the tooth, they bring on some other authors to help them out. So Tom Clancy did that a lot with later in his life, and maybe that's what's going on with James Patterson. So this Brendan DuBois, I think, is the actual author, and it's not an Alex Cross novel. So um, I'm going to have to pick up a real James Patterson and see, compare it, how it's going to be. So this the summer house it takes place in southeast Georgia, and this summer house has seen better days. It's gone from uh, an escape house for FDR back in the day to a tourist trap because FDR stayed there, and turns into now it's a modern times it's a meth house. So something goes down there, and some Army Rangers are implicated in this catastrophe incident uh, goings on that opened the book, and a group of Army CID agents are called in to ensure that the rights of the soldiers are being protected. So the leader is Jeremiah Cook. He's injured in Afghanistan and has a kind of debilitating injury that continues. So he's like still in the army, but as a more of a police officer, uh, not as a combatant. Um, and he's got a team of other people from various parts of the country called in to investigate this incident and make sure that the servicemen are, being their rights aren't being violated. So they, come to southeast Georgia here, fly into Hilton Head Airport, which is nearby where I live, and so it's kind of interesting. The feel of the area seemed very accurate. The descriptions of the locations, um, and so that's good. Uh, it did have um, some. It is, it's kind of a standard thriller. Jeremiah Cook's debilitating injury kind of helps, when it kind of hinders him when effective investigation. The team is put together. There's some power struggles in the team, and of course, this team happens to be like super diverse. One of every race and a female, and just kind of checks all the boxes on that part. But one thing that kind of irritated me, bugged me, well, two things. The first is that it's written in first person from everybody's point of view. So it's like I'll switch from one character, his first person view, go to the next character, her first person view, the third character, and just like to me that doesn't work. I don't like first person narratives anyway much, but if you're gonna switch back and forth all these people, I think third person omniscient is the way to go. We don't really care what they're thinking inside their heads. At least I don't. You kind of just get the story can move along with actual activity. You don't need to hear their thoughts. Anyway, and another thing that really bugged me, it's like every other page, whenever he identified the female agent as Special Agent Connie York, Special Agent Connie York, Special Agent Connie York. It's like over and over and over throughout the whole book. And that just kind of got irritating. Once you set up the characters, you can just say York. Um, you know, kind of, your readers are smart enough to realize who you're talking about. Don't pretend like we're stupid. Okay, so that's kind of, maybe new author things. I'm not an author. I always thought I'd want to be, but even some of these things, I'm a reader, and so I don't appreciate like kind of being talked down to all the time. So overall, Brendan DuBois, it's a fine story, thriller. Um, they have a run in with the local sheriff who's investigating the incident, and I'd liken her to maybe small town Hillary Clinton. Just ew. Anyway, she's bad, and they have the run-ins with her, and it just kind of goes into the southern, good old boy network type stuff, and maybe a little cliche, but it was a pretty good story. Aside from the first person, is pretty. The plot was pretty good. Another thing that maybe the Jeremiah Cook, his debilitating injury, which is kind of common. All the protagonists have something, some sort of flaw or something. His little injury might have been too debilitating to make some of his actions believable. So maybe they kind of toned that down or done something a little different, um, to make it, so you don't have to suspend your disbelief so much. But overall, it's a good story, interesting. I did learn a lot about the military, Afghanistan, um, southern or southeast Georgia. Some of the politics and the goings on with the feelings about the army and stuff around here, and rangers and how they're treated and are viewed. So it's pretty interesting on some things, but um, recommend it. I mean, I wouldn't consider it a James Patterson book. It's a good read. 2.5 to 3 stars. Yeah, so yeah, I'd give it a read. And if you have any ideas or comments, maybe a recommendation on a first James Patterson Alex Cross book I should read, go ahead and leave a comment in down below. I'd be happy to entertain that. I did find some James Patterson books at my last book haul, so hopefully one of those will do the trick. So we'll see you next time and talk to you later.